Ladies and gentlemen, a new snapshot from Minecraft Java Edition 1.14, the Village and Pillage update has been released. This is 18w44a and it brings the second big drop of new things for this version. My name is slicedlime, come with me on a journey through all the news in Minecraft Snapshot 18w44a. Let's start with mobs. Cats have been added as individual mobs. As you are likely aware, cats used to be in the game, but they were a separate version of Ocelots. They are now their own thing, and you can find the stray cats that spawn in villages. These stray cats can be tamed, and once tamed, the cats can bring you morning gifts. These morning gifts are one item, and they are one out of rabbit hide, rabbit foot, chicken, feather, rotten flesh, string, or phantom membranes, where all of those items have the same chance except the phantom membrane, which is a fifth as likely. When sleeping in a bed, a cat can also sleep on top of a player. And you can also dye the color of a tamed cat just like you can with a dog. If you kill a cat, then I will personally hunt you down and make you pay. I mean, they drop string, at a maximum of 2 strings. There will be 9 new variants of cats in the game, plus the 2 old ones, so we'll have 11 types of cats in total. Not all are in the game right now though. One is reserved for a player competition. You will be able to submit images of your own cats and have them potentially be added into the game. More information about that will be available later though. With this change, Ocelots are no longer tameable, but you can still feed them fish, and once you do that, they can start trusting you more. One more fact about cats: phantoms are scared of cats and the cats will hiss at them if they come nearby. There's also a new advancement for taming all types of cats. Thank you for signing up for Cat Facts. Other fixes for mobs that have been added: pandas did not spawn in bamboo jungles properly, they do in this version. They would also eat cakes indefinitely if you give them cake, and they lacked the panic behavior if you set them on fire. You monster. One fix for illager beasts: they would destroy leaves, even when the mobGriefing game rule was set to false. That's fixed in this version. Let's move on to talking about blocks. A large amount of new blocks have been added to the game in this version. Many of them are crafting related, and they also belong together with villages in this Village and Pillage update. These new blocks are meant for crafting, just like the loom that got added in last week's snapshot. These new crafting related blocks are intended to take over some of the more advanced forms of crafting. The new blocks are a barrel block, a smoker, a blast furnace, a cartography table, a fletching table, a grindstone, a lectern, a smithing table, a stone cutter, and a bell. And among these, the grindstone and bell can also be hung from a wall or a ceiling, although the bell appears to be a little bit broken when hung from a wall. None of these blocks are craftable yet, you cannot get them in survival, but they are in the creative inventory and their functionality will be added down the line. While none of the user interface for these blocks exists yet, some of them do have some measure of functionality. The barrel has an inventory of 42 slots and you can place items into that via hoppers. You can also pull items back out with hoppers. However, if you break the barrel while there are items inside, only the barrel drops. The smoker and blast furnace currently work as furnaces. They can both smelt items, both food and blocks. Gameplay fixes and changes: you can now take a piece of dye and use it on a sign to change the color of the text. Some fixes for bamboo: you were unable to pick block bamboo saplings and they would also connect to fences and walls. That's fixed in this version. And if you broke grass and ferns, they would instead drop the tall versions of grass and ferns. Redstone fixes. In the previous version, dispensers got the ability to shear sheep with shears in them. Bunch of bug fixes for that. If you used the dispenser many times with a shear in them, then those shears could get negative durability. That's fixed in this version. Also, dispensers would shear a sheep even if it had already been killed and was playing its dying animation. And even if there was no sheep in front of the dispenser when activated, it would not play the failure sound. That's fixed in this version. A couple of visual fixes as well. If you broke a mob spawner, then there were infinite flame particles that still hung around. And a whole bunch of lighting issues have been fixed, where blocks would be randomly lit after generating a world. In terms of textures for blocks, there are updates for the textures of sand and sandstones to be closer to the previous textures and colors. Stone, andesite, diorite and obsidian have been updated, as have some of the plants, including cactus and wheat blocks. In addition to this, lots of performance fixes, especially for the client stuttering and lag spikes when placing or breaking blocks, although there still appears to be lots of performance problems remaining in this version. We're also going to go through some technical changes to commands and the loot tables and such. The NBT chat components have been changed. They now have an interpret field, and if you have that present and set it to true, then and only then the contents of the selected tags will be interpreted as chat components. And they now work much like selector components do. If there are no elements, then you will see an empty string, and otherwise you'll get comma-separated merged elements if there are multiples. A number of fixes for updates for NBTs as well. The crumb particle didn't update if you set custom model data on food items, and written books didn't maintain their custom model data NBT once created. If you spawned in an arrow with a command, once that arrow hit a block, then it would play the cave ambience sound instead of the arrow hitting block sound. And there are changes to loot table and loot table related things as well. The award part of the /drop command has been removed because the loot table itself now does the same thing. And players' armor stands and withers now also have loot tables. Inside of the loot tables themselves, one condition has been removed, that is the entity present one, and there are several new ones added. They are damage source properties, location check, and weather check. The set name function also has a change. There's a new parameter called entity, and if you specify that, the name will be resolved with that entity if it's present. And it also allows using selector and score components. The fill player head function has been added as well, which copies player profile info to player head items, which means that you can now automatically have player heads drop from a loot table when a player is killed. This of course also has an entity parameter, which works the same way as for the set name function. There's also a new set lore function to add or replace lore lines. This has a lore parameter, which is the lines to be added in chat component format, the replace parameter, which is a boolean value for whether or not to replace any previous lore, and an entity parameter working just like the ones we've previously discussed in this video. And that brings us to the end of the list of news and updates for Minecraft Snapshot 18w44a. If you want to play this version, head into your Minecraft launcher, go into the Launch Options tab and enable snapshots in there. You'll get a message of warning, read it and click OK. Then head back to the News tab, where now in the drop-down box next to the play button, you will find a latest snapshot profile. Select that and start the game to play the latest snapshot or pre-release version, which is currently this one, 18w44a. Keep in mind that snapshots are less well tested and that worlds once opened in a snapshot cannot be downgraded to a previous version. So try this version on a separate test world, or make sure you do it on a copy of your world. And that is all from me for this time. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please make sure to hit the like button. And if you want to stay up to date with the latest Minecraft news, then make sure to subscribe to my channel, where I do updates videos for every new release and snapshot. My name is slicedlime. Thank you for watching. Take care, and I'll see you next time.